Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is yours, Dave. I got a nice special guest, John Distefano. How you doing, John?
Hey, good evening.
So, John, you got that beautiful Chevy SS, the Chevelle SS. What year is that car?
That's a Camaro. That's a '68 Camaro.
So
yeah, it's a Bickle body, Bickle chassis car.
So now, how'd the car run for you last year?
It ran awesome. We took the thing out of the box, and I bought it used from a guy named Henry Duguay down in Louisiana, and he was running a 959 nitrous engine in it, and we dropped a little 632 in it, and first time we went out, the car just went down the track. So really not a lot we had to touch.
So how many events did you run last year?
Oh, let's see. Well, we started in January, and let's see, I think we ran 15 or 16 events last year, which was a lot more than we anticipated going into it.
So how many looking to run this year?
We're probably going to end up running the same. Right now, it's looking at like the Orlando race that they're going to door slammers thing they're going to have in Orlando March 6th. They're going to have 632 there, so we're looking to go down there and get some testing in, and hopefully we can bring home a trophy.
Yeah, hopefully. That'll be the goal, huh?
That's always the goal.
All right, now let me rewind the clock with you a little bit, John, and ask you, how'd you get into drag racing?
Well, I think like a lot of kids, I probably started with Hot Wheels, and my brother and I, we used to play with the cars, and growing up around Detroit here in the Motor City, there were always a lot of cars around. I remember, we'd go around riding around the city, and around the corner there'd be drag cars in shops, and I'd stop in and talk to the guys even when I was a little kid. My grandma's next door neighbor had a dragster, worked on a drag team, and we'd go check it out, and really from there I just always had a passion for cars and racing and everything that went fast.
So what year did you start drag racing?
Well, I started going to the drag races when I was a teenager, and really before that, I went to a lot of circle track races. A lot of my friends' families were into that, and their dads did that, and so I'd tag along with them. And then really didn't get into the drag racing like I'm doing now until about 5 years ago. Started off with, I had some street cars and some different Camaros I drove on the street, and they just kept getting faster and faster, and got to the point where I needed to take it to the track or I was going to get myself in some trouble probably. So, and then my dream car was always a 67 Camaro, so I got a 67 Camaro about 4 years ago, and started drag racing that, and wanted to do some heads-up drag racing with it, and it was a heavy steel car, weighed about 3,400 pounds, and a local track here in Milan Dragway started a 632 class, which was 3,000 pounds, so I went and I bought a used 632 and dropped it in there, and we went racing.
Nice. So now, what are some of your favorite tracks to go to?
Oh well, we got a win at Darlington. That's my only win so far. So I gotta put Darlington on top right now. All the tracks that I never raced anywhere but local. I went to US 131 in Western Michigan, Milan Dragway, Lapeer Dragway, which is just north of where I live. And once I started going to Norwalk, I guess I've been to Norwalk a number of times. But all the tracks are really nice, and I've been racing with the PDRA and the organization there, and it's just, you get spoiled because they're really well organized. They got a set schedule. They try and keep it, and you really know what's going on. You know how many runs you're going to get in the day, and some other sometimes you don't know what to expect or how long it's going to run, or it's not as kind of chaos as some other events. But Virginia, Darlington, Galat, Orlando and Bradenton down in Florida, those have been nice. South Georgia was nice. Maryland's nice. I'm excited this year. We're going to race a couple different tracks. We're going to race Reading, and I've never been there. We're going to race Summit. It'll be my first time racing there at Norwalk. I've been a spectator there, but never raced there. So, but I honestly, they're all pretty nice. But Darlington's got to be number one. Our car was just really happy there. If I could get the car to run like it ran there, everywhere, we'd be untouchable.
Now, do you do only eighth racing?
Yeah, we just do eighth mile. A couple times I've run it out the back just out of curiosity, but right now just eighth mile. I really don't have a desire to go quarter mile racing at the moment. I mean, our best speed so far has been 174 plus, so that's cooking enough.
So what track did you do the 174 plus at?
That was at Darlington, actually. We ran a 4:16 with a 6, which was 3 thou off the record for our class, and we reset the mile-an-hour record with a 174.55. And at the beginning of the season, it was a 170, I think, .8 or something around there. So we topped it we were topping it pretty regularly throughout the season, but that was our fastest speed and our fastest ET.
So now, who are your crew members?
So my crew chief is Troy Russell, and his wife helps travel and get everything set up. She crews with us, Sean Russell. My good buddy Daniel Percassi, he helps out a lot, travels with me, and my dad Dave Swallow and Sergio Fusco, his good friend, they come along and help out with everything they can. Those are regulars. We got a couple other people that they make it when they can. Robbie Hunter, he stepped in and helped out. We got some guys we met along the way at PDRA. We help them out. They help us out. So, if we got something going on, we're thrashing, they come over and help, and we do the same for them.
Now, do you have any sponsorship at all?
We don't have any official sponsors. I've been happy to be introduced to some contingency sponsorship, especially since we did so well. We found ourselves runner-up and winning a little bit. So, those sponsors have been Messier, Hoosier, Lucas Oil, Pat Musey, Jerry Bickle, Jessel Valve Train. I wouldn't mind. I haven't really sought out anybody for sponsorship. But like I said, going into last year, we didn't intend on running 16 events. So I didn't think I was going to be doing it at, doing travel racing. But once we got the car out there and saw what it was capable of, we knew we had to go out and try and compete with the best there is out there, and that was the PDRA.
Now, as far as the sport of drag racing goes, do you have any, drag racers that inspired you at all?
No one in particular. I mean, not growing up. I mean, John Force always comes to mind. He's always been a figure in drag racing for my whole lifetime. Recently I can say some of my favorite guys. Stevie Fast Jackson. Such a great personality, such a talented driver. There's a few other ones, but some of them are my competitors, so I'm not going to give them accolades. So all the 632 racers, though, they're really great guys. Really happy to know them and have a lot of respect for all of them.
Now, do you have a greatest competitor?
Well, we kind of went ahead with,
You're cutting out, John.
I was saying Johnny Placino was the guy we were fighting for the championship this year in the PDRA. And, anytime I ran Johnny, I tried to give it my best. another guy that he's got me a lot was Daryl Ham-Eatman. He got me down in Florida a couple times, and look forward to avenging that at some point.
So now, John, what was the experience like for you to get behind the wheel for the first time of that car?
You know, going from a back half 67 Camaro that was built to drive on the street in 67 to, you know, a purpose-built race car. It was faster, but it was smoother and a lot easier to control.
So how was the transition going from street racing to track racing?
Well, I didn't really do a lot of street racing, like where I was lining up next to somebody. It was really just more, you know, seeing what the car could do on the street. I like the drag, you know, at the drag strip better. It's a controlled environment. You don't have to worry about hurting yourself and, you know, hurting somebody else. You know, there's no pedestrians out on the track. You know, a lot of people say, well, how could you do that? You know, you're going that fast, it can't be safe. You have all the best safety equipment. You're in a cage. You're in a track that's got guardrails or cement barriers. There's safety crew there. So I'm really more of a track racer, I'd say.
Now, when you're out there on the starting line, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
No, I'm pretty calm, and I stay pretty calm. I don't really get worked up. I try and treat everyone as just another day at the office. I just try and stay focused and think about my routine, kind of visualize the run. And but as far as any superstition, I wouldn't say so.
Now, what kind of preparation goes in to get this car ready for a weekend of racing?
Well, every event we tear it down. We check everything out. I mean, after every run, we're checking all the valve springs. You know, we're lashing the valves. We're checking the data, looking for anything that's wrong. And after a race, we do most of our maintenance right after a race because we want to know as soon as possible if there's going to be anything major needed. But beyond that, we keep track of runs on the tires, change the fluids, and usually it's ready to roll unless we've damaged something.
Now you're running on Hoosier tires, right?
Yeah, we are. Yep.
Now, what kind of engine you got in that car?
It's a Patton UC632. Last year we were running 3 kits of nitrous. Not sure. They've made some rule changes, and they're trying to slow us down. And so we got to make some decisions. We're going to go out and do some testing. We haven't decided exactly what configuration we're going to run, but we're going to go out and do some testing and see what the car likes best.
Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
I've been using Sparco for my fire suit and gloves and shoes, and I've been going through Bandio Racing, and they're great customer service. You know, they fit me really well when I described my body type and inseam and all that, and really guided me in the right direction. When the stuff got here, it fit perfect. So those guys really know what they're doing. And then we've been using Stroud and Simpson between the parachutes and the belts. We actually just got some new chutes from Stroud. But we haven't got to a point where I'd say I'm loyal to one brand exclusively. We've got a little bit of everything, and throughout the years, and some of the other cars, we've got some other, you know, RJS and Race Quip, things like that.
Now, have you reached any milestones in your drag racing career so far?
Yeah, definitely. You know, just about every year I've gone out, I've gone faster. You know, this year I won Rookie of the Year in the PDRA, and that was a big accomplishment. We came in a very close second place in our class, and for our first year out racing at that level, I think that was a huge milestone for us. We wanted to break the ET record, and we were within 3 thou of doing so, so that was a little bit of a disappointment, but at the end of the day, looking back on it, I got to be proud of what the team did.
Now, since you've been drag racing, have you had any accidents or close calls?
I haven't. I've had some close calls. They don't really seem that close in the car, but when you get out and watch the video, I've had a car turn probably at least 45 plus degrees in the lane and recovered. I've rode the wall probably within inches. I've hit a slick spot, and there was one time in Virginia, I was about half track. I hit a spot in the car, and the car never moves around like this. It just instantly went towards the wall. But so we've had a couple close calls, but nothing too scary. Thank goodness.
Now, if anyone's listening to the interview and they're thinking about, driving a pro mod, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, first I'd like to congratulate them because they're blessed to be in that position. But just be confident, and you really just people say, well, what do you think? Well, you don't think anything. If you don't have the feel of the car, if you're not feeling what the car is doing, you're going to be reacting too slow. So just get in it. I mean, tune it down to your capabilities, and as long as the car is working right, keep cranking it up. And I guess probably the number one thing I'd say is try and surround yourself with good people, because you can't learn in a short amount of time the amount of experience that a lot of these guys have. So just being a sponge, soaking up all the knowledge around you, and being safe and listening to them. That's probably key.
Now, do you get a lot of advice from the other drivers in the PDRA?
Yeah, I work pretty closely with Pat Musey, my engine builder. Dean Marinas, he helps us out with them. And, all the other guys they help out, with any advice, as do we. We try and help them out whatever way we can. But, to a certain extent, at the end of the day, they're also your competitors. So you can't give them every little tip and trick that you got under your belt, because at the end of the day, you'd like to have some sort of advantage.
All right, now I'm going to ask you some fun questions here now.
Okay.
Now, if someone were to come up to you and give you $500 million, but they wanted you to use that money to build a brand new drag race track, where would you even consider building a new track at, and what kind of features would you put in?
Oh, well, I live here in Michigan, and I like it here. So I guess I'd have to say initially Michigan. And if I had $500 million to sink into it, I'd make it an indoor strip. I'd make it race through a tunnel so it's climate controlled and it could run year round.
Nice. All right, now, do you have any other hobbies besides drag racing?
Yeah, I got a lot of hobbies. Pretty much I like to do everything, but I only got time to do a little. So probably my next best hobby is hunting. I like to deer hunt.
You're breaking up.
Racing and started a new family. I haven't hunted in a couple of years, and I do miss it, but I do enjoy hunting.
You do any fishing at all?
Yeah, I do a little bit of fishing. I like to do ice fishing. Get out there on the lake. There's not as much going on in the winter, so I'll go out there and drill some holes, sit in a shanty, drink a couple beers.
All right, now throughout your drag racing career, have you won any trophies yet?
Well, we won in Darlington. I got a 660 man from the PDRA, really nice looking trophy. And then we got our second place for the championship and the Rookie of the Year trophy. And I've had a couple runner-ups, things of that nature, but those are probably the biggest three I've got.
Now, if you were able to time travel and go back in the time, would you do anything differently with your racing career?
No. I kind of believe, everything that happens puts you where you're at. So I think if I went back and changed something, I might not be where I'm at.
All right. Now, what is your favorite food to eat?
Probably either pizza or chicken wings.
Now, as far as pizza, what do you like on your pizza?
Pepperoni, onions, and banana peppers.
Really, banana peppers, huh?
Yeah.
Different. All right. So now, what's your favorite beverage?
I drink a lot of water and tea, and I enjoy beer.
Any certain brand of beer?
I drink one that's out of the northern peninsula from Keweenaw Brewery called the Widowmaker. It's a black ale.
Nice. Now, do you watch movies at all?
I'm not a real big movie guy. I do watch some movies.
Do you have a favorite movie of all time?
I was listening to your interview with Craig Sullivan, so I with my wife, and I said, I don't know, I really don't have a favorite movie, but then she told me what my favorite movies are, and so Braveheart is probably that's probably my favorite movie, Braveheart, or Step Brothers. Every time I see that on, I watch that. That's a funny one.
Yeah, that one's hilarious. Now, what's your favorite music?
I listen to a little bit of everything. I listen to, I'd probably say like old Metallica. I really like old Metallica. A little bit of country, like George Strait, and I'd say probably a little bit of everything really. Classic rock.
Now, when you say old Metallica, how far are you going back? The Black Album, or Kill 'Em All, or Master of Puppets? Where are you going?
No, before the Black Album. Yeah. Everything before the Black Album.
Yeah,
so like Master of Puppets was my first Metallica tape I ever got. I listened to it with my cousin, then I got it. And Justice for All, Ride the Lightning. Kill 'Em All. Those are the better ones in my opinion.
Oh yeah. So what you like Megadeth?
Yeah, I love Megadeth. I mean, I grew up. I'm 38 years old. That I tell my wife all the time. Some songs will come on, I'll crank it up. I'm like, this is what I listened to when I was 6 years old. And then she says, well, that must be what's wrong with you.
well, the metal and drag racing go good together, though, man.
I agree. They absolutely do. I know some guys that they listen to music in the car, and I don't know if that would distract me or not. I like to kind of think about things, but yeah, I could get pretty pumped up, I think, if I started doing that.
Yeah. Now, do you listen to any music in the pit area?
Yeah, I like listening to Ted Nugent.
Yeah, the good old Sweaty Teddy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Stranglehold. I like playing that song. So I like getting those, get in the beams and get those other guys in a stranglehold and run them down.
You play any musical instruments?
No, I don't. I don't play anything.
Air guitar?
Yeah. Yeah, I play it. Yeah, I was thinking about a couple inappropriate things, but yeah, let's say air guitar.
All right, now, when you were a kid growing up, did you have a favorite cartoon?
Oh, I like the old ones, like the Hanna-Barbera, Tom and Jerry, the old Looney Tunes. I don't like any of this new stuff.
Yeah, the kids these days, their cartoons are all messed up, man.
That's what I think. I'd make them watch them on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah. Now, when you're at the track for a race day, what's your eating habit? Do you eat regularly, or do you eat light and wait till the races are done?
No, I don't eat light. I'm not a light guy. So my crew chief's wife, Sean Russell, she usually cooks for us. She keeps us fed, and She's usually got a lot of snacks in the trailer, so whenever we get hungry, we eat. We also eat the concession, go get a burger or something like that. So, yeah, not too clean eating. Once in a while, I'll get on a health kick, and I'll have my grilled chicken, but it's been a couple years since I've been on that kick.
So now, as far as the fondest memory of drag racing, probably Darlington, right?
Yeah, that's got to be it right there. I mean, there's nothing sweeter than getting a win. I can tell you a high and a low moment. At the finals in Virginia, we were within. If Johnny wouldn't have went into the semifinals, we had a chance to catch him. And the night before, we had thrown something had come out of the engine. A spark, a piece of metal, it looked like. And we had done that before when we had tossed a valve. We came back to the pits. We leaked it down. We did everything. We couldn't find anything wrong, but we had another engine sitting there. So it was a brand new engine. We put that brand new engine in. We went out first round of qualifying, and I think the other guy spun or something happened where we won the race. But the engine at the top end, it just went. So we came back, and we had just swapped the engine the night before, and I said, we're going to swap this engine. So everything went crazy. We ripped this engine out. We put a new one in. I'm sweating like crazy. Get the engine in. We go out, and we had everybody was running, like low 20s were good runs. Like 22, I think, is what a lot of people were running. I forget what we qualified, but mid-20s. And we went out, and we won semifinals with the 419, and we were going into the finals. We knew we had it because once we got over that hump running into the teams, we were going to get it next round. We hit the scales, and we were 10 pounds light. We had been running 10 pounds heavy all weekend, but I think changing the engine out, I probably lost a little bit of weight and sweat. I mean, we went from such a high moment to we just changed an engine, thrash, and then made a good run to now we're disqualified for a low weight. And, there were a lot of things said and a lot of things thrown, but it was an extreme high moment and a low moment, grouped very closely together. So I think that's something I won't forget either. It wasn't necessarily an accolade moment, but it was something you won't forget.
Right. Now, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Slow drivers in the fast lane.
What's your favorite color?
I kind of like, I got a few favorite colors. I'd say blue, red, black, and silver. Any one of those colors is probably good, especially if you're talking about a car.
All right, now what's been your most embarrassing moment out on the track?
Well, I went to Lights Out last year in Georgia, and the guy that had the car before me was shorter than I was, and didn't realize it. I had tested, and ran a race before, and I'd never had any problem with my foot coming off the pedal, but my crew chief's telling me my foot's coming off the pedal. I said, there's no way in hell I got that thing matted to the floor. So we put a GoPro in there, and sure enough, where my toe was hitting my foot wasn't actually hitting the pedal, it was hitting the bar that went up to the throttle. So when I launched, my foot was coming off. So I'm concentrating on getting my foot all the way up there where basically I'm pressing the pedal with my heel, and then I'm also watching very closely where my nitrous is at on my purge. Well, I was in the second round of eliminations, and I was a much faster car than my competitor, and as I rolled into the pre-stage, and he double balled me. And I got red lit and eliminated on a 7-second rule because I'm over there farting around with the pedal and watching my nitrous and trying to stage in while keeping the throttle up. And, that was, let's just say that'll never happen again.
Yeah, what track was that at?
That was at South Georgia.
All right, now, if people listening to this interview want to find out where you're going to be out all this season, what's the best way for them to follow you?
Shameless Racing, and also my Facebook page, John Distefano. I haven't posted our schedule yet, but we'll be at all of our Milan Dragway heads-up races and all the PDRA races, as well as the race in Orlando coming up in March. So I need to get that posted on there to let everybody know, but that's our intention, and that's where they can go to find out any information about what we're doing.
Awesome. Well, John, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do the interview, man.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. It was good to talk with you.
Now, do you have any final words, thank yous, anything you want to do before we close?
No, I just can't be thankful enough, I guess, to my family. You know, they're a big support in doing all this. There's a lot of sacrifices everybody makes to go out and do travel racing. You know, whether it's time with your family, money spent, you know, all your vacation time at work that you burn. So I just appreciate being blessed enough to have the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, John, and I wish you the best of luck with the 2020 season.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
You have a great night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.